Hello everyone and welcome to another weekly vlog. I'm so glad you are here watching what's going on, listening to what's going on in Hope's world, trying to keep up with what's what. I got you, trying to keep up with it myself. But thank you so much for coming back and seeing what random stuff we are talking about today. Today I'm going to be telling you 3 books from undergraduate, which would be my bachelor's degrees, that I have were my favorite books that I read. If you don't know much about me, a couple factoids about myself are that I do have 2 bachelor degrees that I obtained simultaneously, and basically those were a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work and all that jazz. They're in English and theater, so those are my 2 bachelor's degrees that I have. Oh wow, I have a piece of paper that's got something that says I'm good at something, I guess. Throughout my time in undergrad, I obviously did a lot of reading and writing, but mostly reading, since I did have 2 majors that were reading heavy. You would think theater is a lot of acting, but it depends on which track you go on, and it just so happens that the track that I was on was a lot of heavy reading, so go figure. But let's get started on 3 books that I really enjoyed in my bachelor's degree. And if you really like this video, you can give a comment. Maybe I'll do another one about books that I read in undergrad that maybe I didn't like or didn't really vibe with. Who knows? This is not in any particular order, by the way. I don't want you to think I like a book better than one another, but there is one book in specific that I will tell you is one of my favorite books of all time. One book that I do really enjoy is Me Unafraid. This is written by Kennedy O'Deed. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I could be pronouncing it wrong. I think it might be O'Deddy, but I'm not exactly sure. But he did do a speech, I think, with the other author as well, Jessica Posner. Both of them, I believe, came and did a speech at our school. If not one, then the other. But either way, both Kennedy and Jessica, they wrote this book. They are married, I believe. I believe they got married. Could be wrong on that, but it's not like it really matters in the end, because they wrote this book, Me Unafraid. And what it does in this book is it's got some chapters that are in Kennedy's perspective, some that's in Jessica's perspective, and some that's where they wrote them together. But this book we were required to read as part of a summer reading project for students that I helped mentor, and I was so surprised at how great this book was. And it makes you really thankful for what you have compared to what others don't have, and makes you want to be more active in the community for sure. I mean, there were moments where I cried, there were moments where I really felt like I do not project gratefulness as often as I should, and this book really put me in my place. So go read it. Another book that I really enjoyed, it was in my adolescent literature class that I had to read, was Refugee. It is by Alan Gratz, and it is a great book. You can tell by the visualization on the front, this illustration, if you will. It is a epic book. It's got a lot going on, a lot of adventure, and it goes in between 3 stories. I believe it's only 3. I haven't read this book in a couple years. I believe it's 3 stories that it goes in between, and what it does is it shows the perspective of people who are refugees. And so that is where I actually got more exposure to what refugees have to go through and everything like that. And it really puts you in your place if you don't understand what that is like to be a refugee, to be seeking shelter, to be seeking safety. It's a whole big thing, and I definitely recommend that if you are reserved to that whole thing, if you are super red, or even if you're not super red, but you are against refugees or whatever the case, I say you should read this book, because it will soften your heart and make you see that we have a lot of good here, and we need to extend open arms when we can to help others. Go read it! Refugee is a good book. I did cry, I will admit. Oh, there's a part that makes me super cry. We don't want to talk about that. And finally, the best book, my favorite book. It's not probably the best book of all time, but it is my favorite book. It had a big impact on me. I used it all throughout college. I still talk about this book all the time, about the movie, it was turned into a movie, and I read this book going in with, I'd never seen the movie, I didn't know anything about it, and it just had such a big impact. And don't even get me started on what happened recently, because I don't want to talk about it. It makes me sad already. But the book that I really enjoy is Into the Wild. It's by John Krakauer. Oh my god, yeah, he's a popular author. A lot of people like him. It's based on a movie. You can see on the front cover of my book, I have the movie visual. in the front. This is just the way the book was bought for me, but I really did enjoy this book. I have tons of things underlined in this book. It is a great book, and I used it, like I said, on multiple projects. It inspired me to get out there more, to travel, to try to be more out there in wilderness. I really think that this book captures the way we totally miss things in the wild, in exploring, and just outside in general. Just we miss so many things because we're so caught up in technology and all these things. But this book I just love this book. If you don't know about me, I'm a very adventurous person. I love going on adventures. I love seeing the wild, everything, and I hate technology, even though I'm right here on YouTube talking to you, but it's just where we're at. We're in the growth of society, and if I want to reach my dreams, here we are. We're talking about books on YouTube, and this is my daily dose. So, Into the Wild is an amazing book. I highly recommend this book. This is one of those books that I just could talk about all day long, and just the great things about it. Now, the news thing that I was talking about, and I'll just briefly touch on it. They recently took there's a bus in this book that you can see on the front of this. It was a main feature in this book. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's a real story, true story, so you can go look it up if you want to see the specifics about it. But basically, the main bus in this thing that I really wanted to go see myself was taken away because, well, I can't really say it without spoiling, so I'm just gonna stop. They just took the bus away, okay? And I wanted to go see it, and I didn't get to, so I guess I'll get to go to Antarctica maybe one day instead. Even though those are two different places. Alaska and Antarctica are two different places, but you know, at least I can maybe make one dream come true. Go to Antarctica if I can't go see a bus. Am I right? And that brings us to the end of another video. Those are 3 books that I really enjoyed in my undergraduate career, and I highly recommend them to you. I could talk more about them, of course, but I wanted to make sure to give a shortened version to where you didn't get too bored. So like and subscribe this. If you want to go in detail about more books, or you want to hear about more books, let me know. Subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you guys next time on another episode of the weekly vlog. Bye everyone.